lines from the bottom, Omarova. So we had yesterday a major chiddush by Ziri. Ziri says that if you break the neck, the spine, the neck, and most of the bus or most of the muscle surrounding it, then the animal turns into nevela, even if it's mifarcheses. Even if the animal is sort of alive, moving around, it's still a problem. It's still a nevela. The Gemara wanted to bring a raya from what do you call it? Tumas Blia Soif, from Melika. Now the Gemara pushed that kasha off. Rava says like this: Omar Rava, I kashili. If I have a problem with what Ziri said, that breaking its neck creates an avelo, I have a much bigger problem. Anytime you do malika, where do you do malika from? From the back of the neck. So the nail goes through the spine, creates an avelo according to Ziri, and then you continue on and you cut the simanim. So ask Rava, why are you cutting simanim? What's the point? You're cutting simanim of a dead bird. There's no Indian to do shchita. If you want to tell me that Melika happens by breaking its neck, okay. But why continue going on to the simanim? What's the point of cutting the simanim? What's your kasha? If you're already asking from there, ask from somewhere else. As we're going to see the whole sugya today, when it comes to the bird oila, you need to cut both simanim. There's going to be machlokes whether you need to cut the entire simanim completely, or you're not allowed to cut it completely. You have to cut it roiv, but you have to cut both of them. As the baya the chimeisa oimenu moilek. After you cut one siman, we know that by a bird, all you need to do shchita on is one siman. Why? Because one siman is what kills the bird. So then, what's the point in cutting the second siman? What do you gain by cutting a second siman in a oila saif? If one siman kills it, then why you continue on to the second siman? Why is there even a shaylev? Two siman and one siman. One siman is enough. Well, you're cutting a bird that's already dead. By the time you get to the second siman, it's a dead bird. There's no such thing as killing a dead bird. Shechting a dead bird. Omalei says, Rava, no, that's not a good kashami. You're right. When we shech two simanim in a bird, it's not for the mitzvah shchita, it's for the mitzvahs havdalah. There's a concept of separating the head from the body, but nothing to do with shchita. Shchita would be enough, one siman. But Lemaisa, he still has this question: why, according to Zeiri, why by Melika do you have to do simanim? You already killed it by breaking its neck, its spine. Says the Gemara, if that's the case, that the whole point of cutting the two simanim is for Avdallah, or Nami, how come you don't have to cut all the skin off completely? Says the Gemara, Kol hama'akiv b'shchita me'akiv b'Avdallah. So right now the key word in this teretz is the word ma'akiv. Whatever is ma'akiv in shchita is ma'akiv in Avdallah. So by shchita, you don't need skin around the bird's neck. Let's say the bird is missing its skin, it has some problem, it lost its skin right before shchita. You can do shchita, but you have to shecht. So since you have to shecht, that's why it's ma'akiv. And therefore that's not a question why you don't have to cut the skin, because the skin is not part of something that's ma'akiv. As the Gemara, if the word is ma'akiv, only something that will prevent a shchita from happening, according to Rabbanon, if you shecht 3/4 of the simanim, that's good enough for shchita, but it's not good enough for the mitzvah of Avdallah. You have to cut the whole thing. Yet, so let's take the shchita. The 75% of the shchita, let's say, call it 51%, 75%, just to make it sound good. 75%, 3/4 is the shchita. The final quarter, this final 25% is not for shchita, it's for Avdallah. But why do you have to do it? You just said that the key word is ma'akiv. What's ma'akiv in the shchita? What's ma'akiv in the shchita? Only the first 75%. The last 25% is not ma'akiv in the shchita. So why would you have to cut it? Says the Gemara, you're right. Now we just have to change the wording a little bit. Instead of saying ma'akiv, The last 25% is not makiv in the shechita. Why? Because according to Rabbanon, roiv, but you still need it for Havdalah. Ela ema kol sheyeshnei b'shechita yeshnei Havdalah. The key word here is it's in the parsha. Cutting the kon and the veshet is in the parsha of shechita. It's not ma'akev shechita because you don't have to do all of it, but whatever's in it, that's what you have to cut. When it comes to skin is not part of shechita. It's not yeshnei b'shechita. You don't need skin. Without skin, you could also do shechita. So Mela, when it comes to Havdalah, you don't have to remove that.
Is Havdalah a separate mitzvah?
Yeah. Havdalah is, it says in the Torah, V'lo yavdil, you shouldn't, or you should be mavdil. It's a mitzvah in the Torah to, like we learned in Zvachim, you have to put it on separately on the Mizbeach, whatever, it's psukim. We're gonna discuss some of it now. Mikol Mogim Kasha. At the end of the day, we still have Rava's Kasha. Rava just did away with Abaya's Kasha on his own Kasha. But at the end of the day, you have Rava's Kasha, which is, according to Zeiri, that says that you could, by breaking the neck, you create an Avela. The question is, how come by Melika, which you break the neck before you get to the Simanim, why do you continue on to the Simanim? What do you gain by that? You're shechting, you're being moilek, a dead bird. Amarava, Ema, V'cheinu Oisa. So Memela Rav is forced to say on his own kasha, the way to do Malika is you put your nail in there and you make sure you don't sever the muscle and the tissue and the meat that's around the kana and veshat. You just go straight in. Because if you got the roiv basar around, if you're going to cut that, that's going to create an avela. But by going straight in, knocking out the mafrekes, the spine, and going into the kana and the veshet, then it's not dead yet. It's not an avela. It's only an avela because look at Ziri's lashon. Ziri nishbar mafrekes v'roiv basar ima. Only when you have most of the meat that's cut as well as the mafrekes, then it becomes an avela. But if you don't do roiv basar, it's not an avela. You sure? Should I go water after? No, okay. It's good to see you. It's good to see you at the shir. You see? By the way, before he questioned, I just want to say, look, if he's sitting here by the shir and listening, so that means that all the times that he wasn't there, it's as if he's there. That's what Levi said at his speech. It's just because he can't do it. He partially has to get us coffee. Yeah. Sorry. What was your question, Doc?
This is really simple, but I just want to clarify. Does the technique of Malika involve the thumbnail penetrating all the tissues behind the spine, the bony spine, as well as the cord that sits in the spinal canal, and then everything in front of the spine?
Yeah.
Okay.
That
mamish.
And it was a difficult avodah. It wasn't simple. It was hard. It was difficult. You had to be strong.
The whole process, from the very beginning. I mean, we're talking about a bird. You're breaking its neck, basically.
Yeah.
It dies.
Right.
If you never.
But we're talking about here. We're talking about just to clarify. There's two concepts. There's something called a treifa, and there's something called an avela. A treifa is something that we know is not going to live more than 12 months. A very large wound. It's walking around, but it's going to drop dead soon. Not today necessarily, but later. But within the 12 months. Nevela is technically dead. Dead. So now, Raziri said, by cutting through all the stuff that you just described, all this bony tissue and the spine, the animal's dead. Now, but I'm looking at the animal, I see the animal going like this.
Right.
Halachically, it's dead, it's an avela. And what happens if it's an avela? It emits tumah. Versus treifa. Now we're saying, yes, he penetrated through the spine, but since he didn't get all the stuff around it, all these other muscles and whatever, then it's not technically dead. It could be a treifa, you're right, it's going to die. But it's not an avela, it's a treifa. That's something else.
But isn't it part of the shkita process, or the Malika process?
It doesn't matter. We're talking about milliseconds here. According to Zeiri, that it becomes an avela as soon as you hit the spine, then you never got a chance to get to even though it's part of the process, you never got a chance. If you slow it down in slow motion, by the time I got to the kana and veshet, he's already dead. Ask Rava, and you're killing it dead. It's a dead bird. So Rava answers, no, he's not dead. Because he's not, you have to be very careful. And he derived from this question, there's a certain way to do Malika. You can't just be careless and cut everything. You have to be very medaik and go right through the spine and make sure not to cut roiv basar. As we're going to see, says the Gemara, when Reb Zera came to Yisrael, he met Reb Ami and he told him everything that was discussed. He told him everything that Ziri said. So Reb Ami asked him, what do you mean? At the end, if Ziri is right that breaking a neck creates an avela, then how do you do malika? Says the Gemara, he was quiet and he thought about it. Reb Zera. Reb Zera, I think.
Rabbi was quiet. He was giving over everything along the question as well.
Okay.
Rabbi was quiet.
He also came to the same conclusion. By the way, I looked it up. How many times does it say 3 times. And all 3 have to do with Reb Zera. But I'm not sure. It seemed like one time Reb Zera was the one that was Shtaimim Kishal Chada, one time, but all 3 Reb Zera was brought down in that what? Yeah. No, new book, Shtaimim Kishal Chada. What was it called here? Robin Bar Kisi. That's the name of the book. Now we have a brayso that says it's instead of a question and an answer and a heichacha, this is halacha and it's brought down in Shulchan Aruch. Ketz Molkim Chatas Oiv, Choytech and Rambam. Choytech Shidro Mafregets Beloiv Roiv Basar Ach Megiel Aveshet Oy Lakona. Higiel Aveshet Oy Lakona. Choytech Simen Echad. Oy Ruboy Veroiv Basar Imoy. So then it says here in the brayso that first you go through, you get to the Kana Neveshet. And then only afterwards it says V'roiv basar imoy. You have to be careful not to do roiv basar before you get to the kanan neveshet. Uba'oila says.
Why do you need roiv basar imoy with the kanan neveshet?
Why do you have to do it?
Yeah, why can't you just check the kanan neveshet? Then you have the mafrekes, you have miut basar, and you have a kanan neveshet. Why is that?
I don't know why you mean. Maybe that's how you kill it better. I don't know.
We're supposed to separate the head.
No, that's the oila. Uba oila shnaim, oy roiv shnaim. In oila, you have to cut both simanim or the majority of both simanim. As the Gemara just on these words, mani, irabonon, and this is what we're going to be dealing with for the rest of today. This machlokes of Rabbanon and Rebbe Elazar Reb Shimon. This is machlokes. Rabbanon hold amri shnaim dafka. Rabbanon hold you have to cut the 2 simanim completely. Rebbe Elazar Reb Shimon hold my roiv shnaim. Rebbe Elazar Reb Shimon holds that you're not allowed to cut the 2 simanim. They have to be hanging by a thread, as we're going to see all the way at the end of the sugya, maybe on Daf Chav Beis, that according to Rebbe Elazar Reb Shimon, when you bring it onto the mizbeach, the head has to be connected to the body. So the only way the head is connected to the body, says Rebbe Elazar Reb Shimon, if you don't cut the simanim completely, you cut them roiv. So why are you telling me that you do either all of it or roiv? Basically, you're telling me a contradiction. You're telling me Rabbanan and Rebbe Elazar Reb Shimon in the same sentence.
Rebbe Elazar Reb Shimon holds 1 3/4 or 3/4 of each one?
3/4 of each one. You mean one is on top of the other? Yeah. You can move it around. We learned you can move it around.
Why can't you separate?
From the back.
No, he's saying that they go like this. The knife comes in. By the time I get to this one, this is completely severed.
This is with the knife.
Halachically, it will be okay if one of them was still holding on because you still have that head.
So then it can be Rebbe
Connected
Elazar
to the-
No, you can't say that, because then our brayso would be Rebbe Elazar Reb Shimon.
No, because it says
Shnayim.
shnayim means
Right.
totally
Shnayim
complete,
v'di
and
aved,
roiv that doesn't change anything. Why does it change something? It says roiv of 2 or completely 2. They're 2 separate things. But I'm saying one is complete and the other one is roiv. It's still roiv. Amos, so the Gemara says you're right. Shnaim l'Rabbanon, roiv shnaim l'Rebbe Elazar Reb Shimon. Basically, the Brisa didn't want to get into an argument here. The Brisa didn't want to paskin one way or the other. So the Brisa brought both shitas. You have Rabbanon, the Lashon doesn't fit so nicely. You have Rabbanon that say Shnaim, you have Rebbe Elazar that says Roiv Shnaim. But the Baiseima doesn't fit it's even worse. The Baiseima, Hava Ha Rebbe Elazar Reb Shimon, both the Reish and the Sefer Rebbe Elazar Reb Shimon, Umay Shnaim, Shedoimim L'Shnaim. In other words, so Rashi explains here that on the one hand, Rebbe Elazar Reb Shimon says you have to cut it where it's nikar that you did Roiv, that you could see it visually, you see it, that you look at it and you see, Roiv is cut. I says the Brisa, but if you didn't, you can't see it. It just cut 51%, and you can't really. It's also good, but b'di'evet. So what the Brisa is saying, the way you read it is, Roiv Shnayim. You need. I'm sorry. Uba'oila Shnayim. You need to cut Shnayim, and you have to see that it looks like 2. You could see that it's 2. I or b'di'evet Roiv Shnayim. Fine. Now you remember, Naftali's not here. Chaval. I asked you a riddle. How's it shaykh that an animal is alive and it's makabel? It gives off tumah. So Naftali was the one that said, goylal on a caver. If the animal's on a caver, shaykh if the animal moves away. Here's another riddle. It's the same riddle. How is it possible the animal's not on a caver? The animal's walking around and emits tumah. Says the Gemara Rav Yudah Shmuel, Nishbara mafrekis. If a person, his neck was broken, v'roiv basar ima, mitama ba'oil. So a person's neck was broken with most of his meat, so he's considered an avela, and he's mitama ba'oil. He's considered a mace. Now I made a quick chart because I thought there was a chiddush here in oil. The way we normally understand oil is, how do we understand oil? That if there's a dead person in a house, everything in the house becomes tameh. There's more to it. There's two more halachas that I thought I just wanted to point out. This is how we understand oil. By the way, we're going to get Photoshop. It's going to be much, much better. But if there's a dead person under an oil, everything underneath. But here's the other two halachas that are very important. If the dead person is above the person, just hanging there, let's say he's on a tree hanging dead, and you walk underneath him, you're also tameh out of oil. And if he's underneath you, and you're above him, you're hanging on the tree, then it's also oil. Those are all 3 halachas of oil. No, because of the dead person. You can't go below a dead person. Forget about a roof, just the dead person himself creates oil. And you create an oil over the dead person, and you're tummy. Fine. What about the Asr? No, I think their whole thing is that you shouldn't be building on top of Kvarim. Nothing to do with Tumah. They don't care about Tumah. They care about
the famous.
They don't like when you live over rat bones or whatever animal bones they throw in there. All right. According to, we have a friend in Chicago. That's what he told us. Ricky Rother. He said they have videos of them coming in with bones, and they just put it in, and they make Afghanah the next day. That's what he claims. I mean, he owns Schneller, so obviously he's going to say that. Fine. Amar Rav Yudah Shmuel. No, that's what Waldman says also. No? I get a half a smile from him. Amar Rav Yudah Shmuel. Nishmar mafreg is very bossy mitam boil. Vim toimar. Now the Gemara asks, what about oisam ma'isa daily, holding in middle Daf Chof Aleph on the Aleph in the middle? Vim toimar ma'isa daily. What happened with Eli HaKohen when the famous story fell off the chair and he died? Mafreg is below Basavi. Over there, he just broke his spine, but there was no Roiv Basar. How did he die? Says the Gemara, Zikna Shani. He was very old. He was 98 years old. So over there, the pasuk says that the Jews went to war. The Plishtim captured the Aron, and the messenger came back to tell Eli that his 2 sons, Chafni and Pinchas, died. And then he said, that was okay, he didn't fall off the chair. And he said, oh, by the way, they took the Aron. Bam, he fell off the chair and he died. So it says, Mamish, he told them about Chafni and Pinchas, and it says, Vayi kaskiroid. But when he mentioned Es Aron Alihim, that it's in the hands of the Plishtim, Vayi bo malakisa achiranis, he fell backwards, Ba'ad yad ashar, Ba'ati shove, Mafraktoi vayomois. Why? Says the pasuk. He's zaken ish. He was 98 years old. V'chaved, and he was also very heavy. The point is that, like by the spine, they cut from top to bottom, from tail to head. They open it up, right? So if you do that to a person with a sword from top to bottom, he could be running around and screaming, he's dead. He's metame ba'oil. Omer Rav Shmuel Bayitzchok umigaboy. This is all talking about he did it from the back of the person, not from the front, just like a fish. Because that's more of a killing. That's more of a killer, I guess. Maybe in the front you could sew it up. In the back you can't. Omer Shmuel, Asa Gistera Nevela. If you, I have a picture for this.
Especially for Noah.
Maybe the reason Northwest, we have people that have spinal injuries that still live. They had a broken spine that they still.
No, this is for you.
What is that? Oh.
It's a saw cutting a person in half. No, it's a magic trick.
That's a magic trick.
It's a famous
That's
thing.
not what Gemara is talking about.
That's one of the things the Gemara is talking about.
We're talking about an animal, not about an animal.
No. Fine. I saw Gistero. Now, Gistero is also, Rashi says three things. Either he cut it, in half, or he cut off the head by the neck, or he cut the spine and he opened it up. That's all Gistero. Omer Rebbe Lazar, Nital hayorech v'chol shelo nevela. If you take the hip, you take the whole thigh of an animal all the way to the hip bone, and where it's clear and you can see the hip bone, and there's no flesh and there's no skin covering the hip bone, then the animal is an avela. I'm not sure, Doc, what do you think happens? How long does it take an animal to die if you remove the entire thigh all the way up to the bone?
Probably within a couple of minutes.
I'm sure there's some serious arteries there, no?
Yeah,
The femoral artery.
yeah.
The two docs. So anyways, even if you see this animal walking around on three legs, this animal is an avela. It's a dead animal walking. What does it mean? You could tell that you could see all the way to the bone. When a cow lays down on the floor, so basically lays down on top of its own legs, everything is folded up. So if everything is folded up and you still see the hip bone all the way to the hip, that's considered missing. Then you know it's missing.
Whereas if you cut the leg off,
Cut the leg off, it's only a treifa. So if you chop markuvu lamato, that's one of the 18 treifas. It's not going to die in 6 minutes, or a couple minutes. L'malam and arkuva. Yeah. L'malam and arkuva.
when you cut the leg off, there's a special thing where the veins contract.
That's what you're asking. So you're saying, it could live, but probably won't live very long.
No, it will live longer than if you actually open
It's a treifa. It won't live more than 12 months, halachically. Okay, nan awesome. We're talking about the Shmoyne Shratzim. Hutzu Roshem, if their heads got chopped off completely, or not completely, we'll see in a second. Avapi, Shemefarkasin, even if they're, how do you say Pirkus in English?
Jerking.
I know how to do it with my hand, but how do you...
Jerking.
Seizuring, okay. Tmeim. They're like Kiznav Alata Shemefarkas, as everybody knows, the lizard, you cut off its tail, it looks like it's alive, it's moving around. When we were kids in Bnei Brak, we once cut a snake in half, and it was like you couldn't tell which one was alive. They were both like moving around, slithering through the streets. So, this is all these are all, what?
Video?
It was on Shabbos, of course. There's no video. It's such a big video on Shabbos. No, you're allowed to cut it in half on Shabbos. Mamish to come as the bushes.
Especially with all the kids running after it.
Right. Kitzer, so this is just nerves. It's not alive. It's just moving because of nerves. It's dead. Says Gemara Mahutzu. What does it mean that the head of this mouse got chopped off? Oh, I have mice's about mice's head that got chopped off for a different time. Especially if you have one of those traps. I'm just seeing it like this. Like just cuts the head right off. Hutzu. Now, Mayutzu, and obviously it's one of it's avatuma, right? It's you become a rishon if you touch it. Huh?
You should call him Rashai.
Yeah, achber rishoninu. Yeah, you shouldn't even call him achber. He's saying, okay, the rishayim. Mayutzu rishlog machloikis. Rishlog shama hutzu mamish. The whole entire head came off, completely severed, completely. Rabasi Omar, Rabimani, kavdolas oilas hoif. Similar to the way you sever the head of an oila. Now, as we mentioned briefly before, it's a shaila whether you sever the head or not. According to Rabbi Lazar, it seems like you don't sever. According to Rabbanan, it seems like you do. Are you saying like the way you sever a oila, like Rabbanan who say you have to cut through the two simonim completely, and memela the whole head comes off? Maybe it's only going like a oila according to Reb Shimon that you only cut 3/4. Reb Shimon holds it has to still hang on by a thread when you put it on the mizbeach. Ubliktu and memele there is a machlekes Rish Lakish and you. Rish Lakish says the head is completely off. Only then it's mitama. And you say even if the head is not completely off, only 3/4 off, sheretz is mitama. Amalei kavdol salasov le Rebbe Lazar Reb Shimon upal ginon. Yes, there is a machlekes. I hold that only 3/4 of the head and that's it. Iked Amri that it's more mefurish. Reb Shimon Lakish Amar hutzu mamish that the head comes off completely. Reb Shimon he says mamish shita is I hold like Reb Shimon beroiv shnaim. The sheretz's head didn't come off completely, only roiv of the head came off. Now the Gemara says my Rabban, we're talking about Rabban and Reb Lazar, Reb Shimon. What's going on? What's the shita? Says the Gemara Desanya vesasheni yasa oila kamishpat. So it goes like this. There's a lot of psukim, so I didn't really print them. In the beginning of Vayikra, you have the parsha, the mamish, in the first paragraph of Vayikra, in the first psukim of Vayikra, it talks about Oilas Nadava. That's one parsha. And in Oilas Nadava, we're going to see soon, there's a pasuk we're going to be using today. It says, V'yikrivoi, this Oila Nadava, this Oila Sa'if, Mazbeach, Umalak es Roishoy, V'hiktir, there's a Melika, there's a Aktara, and then it says there's Mitzvah Yadam, which is a little bit reversed. The Mitzvah Yadam should have been before Umalak. That's what we're going to get into soon. V'hiktir, right. Now, in Perek Hey, later on, the Torah discusses something else. Not a Nedava, not a guy brought voluntarily, but he was forced to. How was he forced to bring Oil Saif? Because he messed up with a Shvuah. And so he has to bring a Chatos, a Behema. But he can't afford it. If he can't afford the Chatos, so the first psukim talk about a Chatos. Bring an animal. If I can't bring an animal, what do I bring? I bring 2 birds. Either 2 pigeons or 2 doves. One is a Oila, one is a Chatos. Okay. Now, all the way at the end of the parsha it says, Vesasheni, the second bird, Yasa Oila Kamishpat. The second bird, you should make it Oila? What does Kamishpat mean? Like the laws of, there's only 2 possibilities. Like the laws of the bird we just discussed a second ago, which is Chatas Haif, or like the Behema, the Chatas Behema, which is 4 psukim before. Kamishpat, it's a very interesting word. Shech Oila, like we just discussed. Now, there's a reason to go here and there's a reason to go there. The reason to say that it's similar to an animal is because this bird is instead of an animal. So it should have the halachas like an animal. The reason why it should be like a bird chatas is because that was the pasuk right before. Also, it makes more sense that they should both have the same halachas. Why should you shecht one this way, one the other way? They're both coming to do the same, to accomplish the same thing. They're both instead of a chatas behema, so have all the halachas like a behema. Says the Gemara.
Why like Chatas also?
Like chatas oiv, which is 1 pasuk before, or like chatas behema, which is 3 pasukim before. Chatas behema, because it's instead of a chatas behema.
And Chatas also is Zilzal.
It is oiv, and it's 1 pasuk before. It's closer to it. It's closer. And you want to make everything similar. Everything should be the same halach. You're bringing 2 birds instead of 1 animal. So the 2 birds, you should do everything the same. Unless otherwise noted. Like severing the entire head might be different. Like 1 halacha. But everything else, milika, this, that, whatever it is, it should be the same. The sanya v'sasheni, the second bird, yasa oila, you should make it oila, kam mishpat. Like we just learned, like the halachas before. Says the Gemara, this is the Tanakama. And this is going to be the shita why the Tanakama holds, you have to sever it completely. Kimishpat chatas behema. It's just like the animal, the bird oila is like an animal. Maybe compare it to the pasuk right before it. Why are you jumping 3 psukim before or 4 psukim before? Now, we're going back all the way to the beginning of Vayikra, different Perek Aleph. And it says in the pasuk, Vikrivoi, referring to the Oilas Ha'oif, Vikrivoi is a miut. That's why it's in blue. It should say Vihikriv. Vikrivoi, Dafka, this Oilas Ha'oif, has a special way of being makrivit, which is different than Chatas Ha'oif. Chalak HaKosav in Chatas Ha'oif, La'oilas Ha'oif. So over there, with that word Vikrivoi, the Torah made a difference and said, it's different than Chatas Ha'oif. Umani mikayim kamishpat. But the Torah says, on the one hand, the Torah says vikrivai oil is different than chatas. On the other hand, it says kamishpat. It should be similar to what? Kamishpat chatas behema, not chatas oif. It should be similar to the chatas of behema. Chatas behema in a ba elo min Chulin. You can't buy a behema from Meiser Sheni, ubayim, and you can't shecht it during the night, only during the day. Ubiyadei imanis, and you need the right hand. Right? We had all those sugyas. How you learn it? If you learn it from your yad, you learn it from here. Etzba, kuhuna, whatever the thing is. Afoylas oif in a boil min Chulin, ubayim, ubiyadei imanis. Imala halon. If you're learning from chatos, beroiv shnayim, afkan beroiv shnayim. By chatos, I need to do roiv. That's a problem. Because it says umolak v'hiktir, and then after you bring it onto the mizbeach, what do? You spray its blood. Where do you get blood from? It's too late. It's on the mizbeach already. Obviously, the Torah is saying umolak v'hiktir that you should make a comparison. Umolak v'hiktir. Otherwise, it should say umalak and then v'nimtza dama and then v'hiktir. The reason why the Torah puts hiktir next to umalak to tell me that they're similar. Ma haktoro harosh ba'atzmoi v'haguf ba'atzmoi. Just like when you put on the mizbeach, the head is severed from the body. Af meliko harosh ba'atzmoi v'haguf ba'atzmoi. So here's chachamim shita. The head has to be completely severed, gone. You cannot leave roiv. There's no halach of roiv now. Now is halacha of havdalah. Separate them. Rabbi Shmuel Omer. Now this is not important to our sugya. This is a second shita. We are looking for Rabbi Lazar. That's on the bottom of the page. But he says very similar to Rabbi Lazar. He says kamishpat chatas ha'oif. I made a chart here. I'm not exaggerating. You think I'm exaggerating? This chart came out at 7:10, and I only realized afterwards. You could tell that I didn't get it on the whole page. It was the wrong size and the whole thing. Happens to me a lot, but at 7:10, there's no going back. So that's why we're gonna not use this today. But basically, it just says what do the three shittas do with kamishpat, what do they do with Rikrivai, and what do they do with Umalak Victor. I wasn't so sure what Rebbe Lazar does with Umalak Victor. I think I got it. Chut Sikra, I'm not 100%. Don't quote me on it. I'll go upon him if you want. I'll put it on the WhatsApp later. Rabbi Shmuel Omer kamishpat. What does he do with kamishpat? That the oila chatos, the oifa oila is like the laws that we learned before, which are what? Not the animal, but kamishpat chatos oif, like the bird, the pasuk right before. Ma chatos oif mimul oif. It's just coming to tell us where's the mokim milika. Where do you do this? Ma chatos oif mimul oif, avoilas oif mimul oif. And where does Rabbi Shmuel learn the three things that we said in the beginning of the page? Chulin, Yoim, this stuff. So Rashi says, V'zois ha-Torah. You learn all these halachas one from another. Fine. Says the Gemara, if I'm comparing the oila to the chatas bird, just like by the chatas bird, you don't sever the head. Not only that, all you do is one simin, and you shouldn't do the other one. It's not part of the mitzvah. Maybe you should only do one simin by oila. So now Rabbi Shmuel is learning from the word ve'krivai that it's different. Oila is different than a chatas, and a chatas, you're right. You only do malika on one simin. By oila, you do it on two simanim. Rabbi Shimon Omer, and this is what we're looking for. Kamishpat, the same thing like Rabbi Shmuel. Kamishpat chatas ha'oif, just like the chatas ha'oif. Whatever the halachas are by chatas ha'oif, that's what I learned by oilas ha'oif. Malalon oiches beroish ubaguf u'mazah. Just like I hold on to both the head and the body, and I sprinkle on the mizbeach. Avkan oiches beroish ubaguf u'mazah. My kalmar, does the kohen have to hold on to both the head and the body? Where does it say in the Torah by chatas that you have to hold on to both? Hachi kalmar malalon gishu ochuz haroish baguf u'mazah. Just like by a chatas, the body is attached to the head. The head is attached to the body. There's not a complete detachment. Afkan shu'achaz haroish baguf u'mazah. So therefore, the Rebbe Lazar, Rebbe Shimon holds that you don't sever the simanim completely. You do roiv, but that's it, because you need to have this halacha that the head is attached to the body. Ima lahalon b'simin echad afkan b'simin echad tamaloymar v'krivoi.
Two simanim, but wrong.
You need two simanim, you need roiv, you need more than that. You can't be havala completely, it has to be attached. Have a great day, a great fast, an easy fast, a meaningful fast.
If anyone's around the show, and you can say thank you to Malcolm Horowitz for organizing the money for...
Oh, we were not supposed to be here today?
No, I'm saying Hanukkah and service.
No, there was a day he told me, I forgot what it was.
You guys could just go Malcolm Horowitz and tell him Shkoya for letting our ship continue.